Hey, this is Lewis from SoFly. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a cool off-canvas menu effect. Here's a 3D version. Here's the basic version of the effect where the menu just slides out from the left and the rest of the page goes to the right. This is very easy to do, and it's pretty easy to get fancy with it, make it 3D, customize it, etc. So here's how the effect looks in Oxygen. And it's quite simple. We have a page container that inside the page container we have the menu, which is right here, this div. And then we have the page canvas. And basically what we're doing is putting all of our page content, our hero, features, etc., inside this div. And then when the menu icon is clicked, what we do is apply a CSS transform to this div to make it 3D, rotate it, move it over. Okay, let's go ahead and create this effect using Oxygen. So first thing we'll do is add a div and add a class to that div called page container. Everything is going to live inside of this div. Now inside this div, we're going to put another div for the menu. Call this menu. And this div is going to be positioned absolutely in the top left. So position, absolute, top, 0, left, 0. It's going to be 300 pixels wide. It's going to be a height of the viewport, so 100 VH. And it's going to have a background of, let's say, blue-gray. Now for the page container, since this is positioned absolute, we should make the page container position that relative. Now for the page content itself, we'll add another div inside the page container. We'll call that canvas. And the page content is going to live inside of this canvas div. So we're going to make the page canvas the height of the browser viewport, height 100 VH. We're going to position it relative, since we're going to be positioning elements inside of it, absolutely. And then inside the canvas, we're going to put the menu icon and another div which actually contains the page content. So I'll add another div, we'll call this canvas inner. And this is where the actual page content will go. So I'll go to design sets, next, components. I'll just quickly add a hero, feature list, testimonial block, and that should be good for this page. Okay, now let's get this all working. So the menu right now, it's showing up overlaying the page. This is not good. We want this to show up when the user opens the menu, but to start, we want the menu to display off the page over on the left. So what we're going to do is do a CSS transform on the menu to move it over. So we're going to do transform, translate 3D, and we're just going to move it over. Since it's 300 pixels wide, we're going to move it over minus 300 pixels, and then 0 pixels. We're not going to move it on the Y or Z axis at all. So now the menu's over there off the page. That's great. Next up, we want to get this section to really be the height of the page. Right now, it's much taller than the page. So what we're going to do here is go to the inner canvas and set the height to 100%. That's going to make the inner canvas 100% of the height of the canvas, which is 100 VH. And then we're going to set the overflow on the inner canvas on the y-axis, that's a vertical axis, to scroll. So now, as you can see, the page itself, or the canvas here, is the height of the browser viewport, and then if you mouse over the canvas, you can scroll down to see the rest of the page. That's the effect we want. Now let's go ahead and add the menu icon. So I'll go back to the canvas div, and inside this I will add an icon. Go to linear icons, menu, and we're going to position this absolutely 20 pixels from the top, 20 pixels from the left. We'll make this icon much bigger, white, and then since it might be over a white background, we'll go ahead and put a semi-transparent dark background on it. and we'll put some padding. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's make clicking on the icon actually move the canvas over to the right and make the menu pop out from the left. So to do that, we'll add some JavaScript to the menu icon. So click the menu icon, go to the CSS and JavaScript tab. JavaScript, we'll clear out this comment, and what we're going to do now is when the menu icon is clicked, apply a special class to the page container. And then we'll create styles for that moves the menu into view and the canvas over to the right. So we'll go jQuery element ID off the click, and then jQuery element ID click function E. We need that E there because we're going to stop. We're going to use that later. I'll show you why in a bit. And then we're just going to add the class menu open to the page container. Page container, add class menu open. Okay, and now when you click this menu icon, it's going to add the class menu open to the page container. So now what we're going to do is create a style sheet. We'll call this off canvas menu. And we're just going to create special styles for the menu and the canvas when the menu open class is applied. So we'll go menu open menu, and we'll just translate the menu into view. So transform, translate 3D 0, 0, 0. Remember before it's minus 300 pixels off the page. Now we're setting it back to 0, which will make it display right here. Then we're going to go menu open canvas, and we're going to move that 300 pixels to the right. So transform, translate 3D 300 pixels X, no Y value, no Z value. And that's it. It really is that simple. Apply this, click the menu icon, and the menu comes into view and the canvas moves over to the right. One thing we need to tweak is we don't want the user to be able to scroll to the right here. So what we're going to do is go to the canvas and go to position and size. We'll go to the page container. Go to position, size, position, set over scroll to hidden so that you can't scroll to the right once this is open. Okay, now we need to make it so clicking outside of the menu closes the menu. In other words, takes the menu open class away. So we'll go back to the icon, CSS and JavaScript. I'll go jQuery. We'll make a click anywhere on the page container. Do this. Page container, off the click. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if the click took place in the menu, because it might have taken place in the menu. If the click took place in the menu, we don't want to actually close the menu. We only want to close the menu if the click took place outside of the menu. So if if the click did not take place in the menu, so if not, jQuery e.target parents has class menu. So this checks to see if the clicked item has any parents that have a class of menu. If it does, the click must have been on the menu or inside the menu. And in that case, we don't want to close it. So only if the click was not inside the menu. We also want to check to make sure the click wasn't on the menu itself. So we'll just go not jQuery e.target has class of menu. So if we're not clicking the menu and we're not clicking anything that has a parent that is the menu, let's apply this to kill that syntax error. Then what we'll do is remove the menu open class. We'll just copy the line that adds the class, and we'll just change add class to remove class. And that's almost it. But here's why that's not going to work anymore right now. it's because right now we're clicking the menu. This adds a class called MenuOpen. But then this code also runs that determines we're not clicking the menu, and then that just closes the menu. So what we have to do is stop this event from propagating down to here. So to do that, we just do e.stop propagation, and that'll stop this click event from bubbling up to the page container. So apply that, and there we go. Now you click the menu icon, menu opens, click in the menu, menu stays open, click outside the menu, menu closes. So now let's make the animation smooth. So to do that, we're just going to go over to the menu div and add a, let's go back to that class, sorry, go to the menu div, CSS, go to transition, we'll do 0.3 seconds, ease in, out, all. And that's going to make the menu move into view slowly. Now, let's do the same thing for the page canvas. So transition, 0.3 seconds, ease in, out, all. And it's that simple. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and actually design a menu so it looks a little better. Let's make this a little darker. More like this is good. Go 24 pixels. Let's move this. Let's see, 30 pixels, 30 pixels, 30 pixels. Then we will add a link. We'll call this, actually, let's make these icon links. So we will add a link wrapper. Call this menu link. And then inside the link wrapper, we'll add an icon. Menu link icon, and we'll add text. Menu link text. Okay, we want this to be white. We want the icon to be white. We want the icon to flow left. We want the menu link itself to display as a block. Go with 30 pixels of padding on the left and right, 20 on the top and the bottom. Let's go to the menu itself and set the text rendering to anti-aliased. That looks better on dark backgrounds. Let's add some margin here, make this a little bigger. A little more margin. Okay, this looks pretty good for us. Use linear icons. Okay, that looks pretty good for a menu link. Now I'll just duplicate this down to our other links. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this effect on the front end. Okay, there you go. There is our off-canvas menu. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you how to do the cool 3D effects like shrinking this thing, shrinking the canvas down, moving it back, making the menu spin in, etc. So stay tuned for part 2.